Hello and welcome. I'm Chloe Thomas, the host of this e-commerce marketing focused podcast. If you're not familiar with our format, we release a 5-episode mini-series that dives deep into one e-commerce marketing topic at a time. It could be channels like email or SEO or Facebook ads like we're doing at the moment, or a big topic like acquisition, retention, or analytics. In each of the episodes, new ones released on Wednesdays, I get to interview a different expert to explore the latest advice on making it work for you. And then after each 5-episode mini-series, we take a week off to give you time to take action on all that you've learned before we start another mini-series on another topic. Now, with this episode, we're kicking off a revisit to our meta ads thread. Yes, prepare for 5 episodes all about how to make your meta ads sing in 2026. Expect lots about creative campaigns and, of course, data, which is where we're kicking things off. In this episode, we're finding out the latest news on what you need to do with your first-party data into Facebook ads, meta ads, to make your performance great. And I couldn't have Yiqi on the show without picking her brains about the rest of first-party data. So we will also be chatting about how to use it with your email marketing, Google Ads, AI, and we'll be getting into your product data, your catalogue data, which of course is another form of first-party data, and talking about the new UCP protocol and what that means. That's particularly important if you are on Shopify. Always great to have Yiqi on the show. She knows so much about this stuff. You will have lots of ideas and lots of actions to take by the end of this one. So do make sure you listen right to the end of the episode because you don't want to miss her insider tips. And I'll be sharing my take on it all as well. In this episode, I'm chatting with Meta Ads expert Yiqi Wu. Yiqi is the founder and CEO of Aimerce, a next-gen platform to empower long-lasting relationships with customers by putting you in control of your first-party data. Hello, Yiqi.
Hello, hey, Chloe. Thanks for having me.
Always great to have you coming on and getting to geek out about this super techie stuff. Always great to have you here. How did you get into the world of meta ads and first-party data?
Great question. Well, I used to work at Meta for quite a long time. I was there since 2014, and I worked there for almost 7 years. So I get to build a lot of things from the very beginning, not the very, very beginning, but pretty early stage of Facebook. And I get to experience a lot of how infrastructure was built out, how data was being leveraged and utilized at Facebook algorithms. So lots of things I learned along the way while working at Meta. Well, I worked at Facebook, not necessarily Meta, but same thing, potato. Along the way, I learned about the power of having data, the enhancing data. Now I run Aimerce. We specifically help people leverage the first-party data in their meta ads and other marketing channels as well, like Google Ads, Klaviyo, etc.
And I guess when you're that deep in it, when you're actually working at Facebook, then there's no escaping the power of the data and seeing how much is possible when the right data is in the right places, tagged in the right way. Mm-hmm. Well, then how's that impacting growth at the moment? What's driving growth for the businesses you're working with right now?
Yeah. So for people who are listening, most of people run Facebook ads. That's still one of the main traffic drivers out of all the channels. So for meta ads, there are 2 parts, right? Most of people spend most of the time on Ads Manager, which is the campaigns and structures, which you should. The second piece, which a lot of people overlook, is the data part. It lives in Events Manager. It's the meta pixel. If you think about a meta pixel, essentially it's a list of events like page view content, added to cart, checkout, purchase. It's all the activities that your customers, your visitors are doing on the website. And the Facebook trained the algorithms on top of that data set, so they can learn who to target, who to prospect, who to retarget. And that something there's a lot of nuances in that data set. And then we're going to talk more deeper into that data sets. But keep in mind there's so much more you can do to optimize the data set. So with the same amount of effort on ads manager, you can potentially achieve a higher performance and lower CAC.
Yeah, I always find it so kind of obvious but mad that we didn't do it before. Like, I remember 10 years ago in an e-commerce business, we'd be obsessed about each of those steps in the funnel.
Yeah.
Like website, homepage to product page to category page to checkout to buying page to, whatever that stage is, what we were obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And then with our ads and our attribution channels, all we ever cared about was actual sale. And it's like, there's so much in the middle that we were ignoring.
Yeah.
And now we can provide it. I still find it mad how many businesses are just merrily going along without giving all that data to the algorithm. It's kind of insane.
Yeah. Yes. It's a part that people find like, oh, it's like, I don't know if I can do anything about it. Or I don't know if I'm doing the right things. There's a lot of like unknown around that area of things. And that's where I come in. Like I can we can talk about like what kind of areas can you improve? Like how does Facebook use that data to do algorithm training? And then eventually they find out your audience and you can improve your CAC using that data. Yeah.
So let's stick with, because I want to get you onto the other channels as well, because I think there's huge opportunity on them as well.
Yeah.
And we do get excited about the meta ads opportunity of this because it seems to be what everyone talks about the most, but of course it's equally as valuable everywhere else. But we'll get onto that in a minute. So first off, on meta, what's the key data for us to be getting into meta? And why do we have to do it ourselves? I suppose is the other question.
I know. I'll be very so what data matters most? Two things, email and a click ID. I'll get into them one by one. Okay. So remember I just talking about all the activities people are doing on the website. So there are two pieces of activities. One is what are they doing? Do they add it to cart? Do they check out? Do they purchase? The second piece is who. That's the question a lot of people ignore. It's like you got to tell Facebook who's doing what. That who question is related to emails, right? So obviously there are other information like IP, locations, city, state, and first name, last name, etc. But if you were to care about one thing, email is the most important information. So every single event, let's say page view or added to cart, there could be a percentage of email associated with that event that tells Facebook, oh, those people are adding to cart. Those people are checking out. The reason why email is so interesting and important is because email is a unique identifier to be matching to a Facebook or Instagram user. Every single Facebook user or Instagram user logins with the email. So if you know their email, you most likely know which Facebook user they will be. And the very first thing Facebook does is they match the email with the Facebook user. So they know, oh, this Facebook user is purchasing. This Facebook user is adding to cart. Then they retarget them or prospect like similar people to that. Right? That's for emails. And then we should talk about where do we collect emails later. The second piece of important information is click ID. Click ID, for people who run ads in the weeds, if someone clicks on your ads, right, there's a click ID associated with that activity and then goes all the way to your website. So all the activities later, like page view, video content, all the way to purchase, will be associated with that click ID. The click ID contains three information. Which Facebook user click on the ads? What ads they click on? What time? Okay, so the three pieces of information was encoded into this one ID. You want to tell Facebook that ID with all the activities. So Facebook would know, oh, this added to cart is coming from this Facebook ads and from this Facebook user. So they can learn, should we retarget them more or should we find out more similar people to that? That's why this two information with all the activities is the most important information.
Because otherwise you end up with, oh, here's some really interesting click information and here's some really interesting habit information and here's some people who did some sales, but you might have 3 bundles of data for one person.
Yeah.
which doesn't help Facebook make the right decisions on your behalf at all, does it? It's like you're just not getting that whole picture.
Yeah. And then if you like think a step further, right? Like, how do you get emails? How do you like tell Facebook more about who's doing what?
Well, yeah, because like in my head, I'm immediately going, well, on your own website, you don't capture the email till you do the purchase, and we're talking about all the rich stuff before that. So how do we get that email to be able to pass it back?
Yeah. So it's never just the final conversion event. The entire funnel data matters. That's why telling Facebook what people are doing before they check out is also important. So where do you get emails? Generally, like you can get email from 3 sources. One is a pop-up. That's why everybody has a pop-up. You can collect emails from the very beginning, so you can keep tracking their activities later. The second is people are not utilizing enough, which is a quiz. So the interesting thing about quiz is not just a personalization. It's also you can collect their personal information at the end of the quiz. Majority of people are willing to give out information by end of the quiz because they have already committed their time over there. So running things through quiz also works for collecting personal data. The third part is obviously checkout. Right? If they check out, they give you the information. Some people purchase, some people don't, but they may come back to your website. So at that time, you should know their email already. So the 3 sources are from your first-party data, and though optimizing those paths to collect more emails can change a lot of the results in Facebook ads.
Got you. So we're not just prioritizing email capture before purchase in order to get a bigger email list and continue the conversation. We're also doing it because now we can feed that back into the Facebook algorithm to enable them to do a better job for us.
Exactly. It's more about identifying like this email, what are they doing later? Do they convert? Do they not convert? Do they go down the funnel or not?
Got it. So emails, everybody listening to this, watching this, get those email addresses is what we're saying. So is that the 2 core things we need to be focused on right now on the meta ads tracking side of things? Is that
These are the 2 most important things, right? If you were to care about, like if you don't have much time, then these are the 2 most important things. Obviously, there are other things that matters. Phone number, first name, last name, IP, location, city, state. Those things also matter. They're just not as important as click ID and email. But anything you can collect and get to know who's doing what on the website matters to Facebook algorithms.
Got you. So let's talk a little bit. Oh no, let's actually, just before we talk about other things, of course, I mentioned I kind of half hid a question for you earlier, so I'm going to bring it back up now, which is why is it that we have to collect this data, and how do we then get it back to Facebook? Because I think, those of us who are old enough and grew up with the one click and analytics is installed, the one click and the pixel is installed world. This is like, well, I have to do work here. Can't I just click a button and it's done? So why is it that we have to capture this, and what's the best way of doing it?
That's a very good question. Long time ago, like if people who've been doing this Facebook ads for years, like long time ago, you just install a Facebook pixel on the website and then you like call it a day, like this is done job. But no, these days you can no longer do that just because third-party cookies are being deprecated on the browser, period. So when I say third-party cookies, what do I mean? It's a cookie set by a third-party domain, like Facebook.com, Google.com. Those kind of cookies are called third-party cookies. So if you just let Facebook to collect the data, they will set a cookie from their domain. And those kind of cookies can only last for 7 days on Safari. And it's a Safari-only policy as of now. Chrome, on the other hand, has not deprecated third-party cookies yet. They've been talking about this for forever, but they haven't done it. But Safari is interesting enough because majority of the traffic on D2C are coming from mobile. And Safari is a huge chunk of mobile traffic. And if third-party cookies can only last for 7 days, meaning you can keep tracking visitors' activity only for 7 days, the workaround is to set a cookie from your domain. For Shopify brands, it's specifically Shopify domain, right? Like if you can set from a Shopify domain or like your first party domain, this kind of cookie can last for 365 days on your visitor's browser, meaning you can keep tracking your visitors' activity for a year if you are the person who's tracking the data, not any third-party domains. And if you can collect the data yourself and track more, then Facebook provides conversion API for you to send the data and feed data back to the Facebook pixel.
Yeah, it's so, it's like, oh no, they changed the Safari thing, but then you're actually like, well, actually, I would like to own this data myself, because it's actually, as we were talking about earlier, it's not just on Facebook ads or Meta ads that you want to be using this data. This is valuable for any type of segmentation, any type of optimization across the thing, which is why we talk about other channels. So, Yiqi, where's got you excited at the moment about where else you can be sending this data once you've got it set up and being captured for Meta?
Yeah, so if you think about those lists of data, right? One, obviously you can enhance the metapixel so that Facebook can learn faster, but those same list of data can be utilized in any other marketing channels as well. Let's take email, for example. View content, add to cart, checkout, or trigger events for abandoned cart flows, right? Whether you use Klaviyo, OmniSend, or any email marketing channels, you can trigger a abandoned cart email if you can capture their activities with their email properly. And people know that abandoned flows are the most revenue generating flows out of, besides the welcome flow, right? So if you can capture 20, 40% more abandoned flows, you basically generating 20 to 40% more revenue on email flows. That's a significant chunk of revenue. Yeah.
Significant and better for customer retention, so it has a good customer lifetime impact down the line as well. So so we definitely integrate with our email. Any other, I guess Google ads.
Google is interesting too. Google is slightly different from Facebook. Google ads, if you look at the Google's conversion action, it's like, if you think about conversion action, it's like Facebook's version of Pixel. Google's conversion action only cares about primary purchase event. So they don't really take a look at the top of funnel. I think the reason why Google doesn't need all the entire events is because Google owns Chrome. Google owns Chrome. So as long as you send Google the emails, and Google is able to match the activities and trace back if this purchase can come from Google ads or not. So
they own so much more of the internet, don't they? And I also wonder if part of it's because Google tends to hang out at the bottom of the funnel.
Yeah.
I know they do a lot with YouTube advertising and more display stuff these days, but they're so much more bottom of the funnel, whereas Facebook is so much more top of the funnel. You can see they're kind of like, well, we don't need to worry about it yet.
Yeah. That too. And also, like, Google can Google has implemented this feature called enhanced conversion. I'm sure people heard of it. Basically, what enhanced conversion does is, besides sending the conversion value and the conversion quantity, they also want you to send the personal data, email, phone number, name, country, location, like tell Google a little bit more about who's converting. So Google can trace their activities back to see if they should be attributed to Google or not, right? So like all the additional customer data is also what Google wants.
So it's less the stages of the funnel for Google and more the personal identifying data, as we were talking about earlier. And then what about the world of AI and AI traffic?
Yeah.
An ever-changing space, but clearly an ever-important product discovery channel. So can we give this data to AI, should we?
Very, very interesting question. So if you think about first-party data includes multiple different areas. What we just talked about is your website activities, your website events, right? There's another chunk of your first-party data is your catalog data, your catalog metadata specifically, not just the PDP data. It's also everything you configured in the back end of the catalog. If you guys remember, like back in January, NRF, like Google announced this protocol, like UCP protocol with Shopify in January. So if you recall that, UCP means, in case people are not familiar with, it's called Universal Commerce Protocol. So what it does is Shopify has implemented a universal list of API, including catalog, checkout, and a few others. I think catalog is the most interesting one besides checkout. This catalog API that Shopify implemented with Google, if you want to simplify it a little bit, it's essentially a aggregate of all the Shopify catalog from all the Shopify merchants into one API. This API is going to be used by AI agents like Gemini, like Claude, etc. Right? So let's say I want to buy a red T-shirt today, and I go search for a red T-shirt on AI agents, and the AI agents can like go search the catalog API that provided by Shopify to find out all the Shopify catalog that's relevant to what I want to search. Now the question goes back to, how do you get ranked higher than your competitors?
Always the question is that.
In this catalog API, right? This is so interesting to me because when Shopify first announced this, I was like, okay, is this API public? And they'd be like, yes, this API is fully public. So meaning that anyone can query this API as of now. And the second question is, can you know how you get ranked? And the question is yes. Actually, you can test out how you get ranked at this as of now in this catalog API. So we tested. We've run this catalog API. The interesting thing about the API, if you think about it, is you can potentially, all your competitors' metadata is also exposed in this API.
Mm-hmm.
So you can like compare yourself to all your competitors to see how you ranked among them, right? And that's the first thing, knowing like your current status. The second step further is, how do you optimize it? How can you make yourself rank higher than you were before, right? That goes back to like how Shopify rank it. Like, why do your competitors rank higher than you are? Take a look at what they are doing. Take a look at how they have structured data in their catalog metadata. It's going to be more important than ever. Long time ago, it's just a internal op data, right? Like only like someone who managed the Shopify catalog look at those metadata. Some people just like use a very simple word in the description, in the attributes. Now it's no longer just private. It's all public information now. So like you gotta like get on the work and then start like optimizing your structured data in your catalog metadata, so that you can be queried and ranked higher, like in the next 5 years.
Yeah, it's such a huge piece, and you know, having myself spent parts on and off of the last 20 years wrestling with product data, putting it from one place to another, mainly for Google shopping campaigns, but for plenty of other things as well. That data quality has always been problematic for Google and for everyone else. So this potentially solves a chunk of the market, you know, the Shopify chunk of the market.
Yeah.
But it's if ever was the time to optimize your data, now is the time to optimize your data.
I know. And because like if you think about AI traffic as of today, among all the traffic sources, it's still like a small chunk. It's like, I think on average like 5%, 10% top. But you never know what's gonna come up in the next 5 years. That traffic could be like 20%, 50%, even higher in the next 5 years. It's a big bet for a lot of the brands to start acting now, so that 5 years later you'd be like, like I'm like left behind. Everybody was like so before. I feel like, you know, it's like the age of SEO on Google back in 2010, like where like if you can get ranked earlier, that you get so much more traffic than other websites and other, you know, brands. So yeah, I think it's still a bet, but I think it's like a quite safe bet. And
yeah, I mean, because like you look at the consumer behavior and how consumers are increasingly using ChatGPT, Gemini,
Yeah.
Claude to solve their problems rather than
Mhm.
using the search engines. Yeah, well, and you look at where the search engines have made all their money, and that's in ads,
Yeah.
mainly selling consumer goods and travel and things like that. So it's like, well, clearly they're going to want to start getting better results so they can then start monetizing it in some way or another. So it's, and then Google's the one who's created the UCP. They're clearly going to start using that within the Google ads
Yeah.
piece,
Yeah.
and they're clearly going to start using that to help with Google Shopping, or
Mhm.
on the front end of the Google
Mhm.
search engine. So it's like, it's so a for me I get why you say it's a bet, but I think it's such a sure thing.
Yeah.
It's such a good idea.
I know. And a lot of people are surprised at how like they never spend time optimizing that part of metadata. It's like not just the title, description, but also attributes, every single attributes of your catalog, right? So those little attributes are also gonna be queried by AI to find out if this is relevant to the search. The more detailed you have on your catalog, the more structured data you have on your catalog, the better.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, it's been a hugely good idea
Mhm.
for a couple of years now, just from SEO standpoint.
Yeah.
And it's like AI is shining a light on it, and everyone's suddenly woken up to the fact they should care about this.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just speaking of SEO, I want to call out this one thing. Is like
Mhm.
some people get confused on the PVP side of SEO versus the SEO I was talking about. These are two not two different. It's the same concept, but they're two different type of data. One is on the website data, right? Your website data is still going to be SEO'd, like the PDP, like the blogs. Those kind of things are still going to be SEO'd, but what I was talking about is more the backend data, the catalog metadata. Like some people are connecting the metadata to the PDP, some people are not. It's not just a direct correlation. Yeah.
Yeah. And it now gives us two ways of optimizing
Yeah.
rather than just one, and two very complementary ways. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's cool. On the AI channels, and forgive my ignorance on this, but we can now feed the first party product data in. Can we feed the events and the back end data to AI? Do they want that user behavior and user identity stuff yet?
As of now, I don't think they're used by AI to train the algorithms, but they're definitely used by Meta AI to find out, like, targeting, and so Google AI to find out targeting. It's specifically used for ads backend data, but not necessarily for the ChatGPT or Gemini agents as of now, because it's such a nuance, like raw events specifically to a brand. Yeah. But you can
Yeah.
use that for analytics, I guess.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So not yet, but they're all talking about monetizing with ads. So sooner or later, there's there's going to be, and their curve of what's the word for it, becoming more sophisticated, there is a lot faster than the search engine
Yeah.
curve. So strangely enough, it being 10, 20 years further down the line.
Mhm.
So watch this space. Ichi, anything we've missed that people really need to know about around this whole world of events and meta and CAC improvements?
Mm. I think we cover most of it. I just want to call out one last thing is like if you take this to the fundamental level, like everything we talked about, it was just around like how do you know what your customers are doing? Like how much do you know about your customers, right? Like if you know your customer better than other your competitors, then you have an edge in your marketing. You get to know like who to target, you get to know how to target, you get to know what language, what messaging you're gonna use. So at the end of the day, marketing is all about how much do you know about your customers.
Oh, so true. And the first party data is some lovely,
Mhm.
straightforward black and white ones and zeros data to gather on that, as well as all the softer stuff. Thank you so much, Ichi. It's been brilliant picking your brains about all of this. Listeners, make sure you stay tuned right to the end, because you do not want to miss out on Ichi's insider tips on meta ads and my suggestions for other things we can do to help you improve things in your business. Okay, Ichi, so far we've gone deep into tracking data and AI agents. Now you get to wow us with your insider knowledge about the whole of meta ads and beyond, if you like. So for the following questions, your answer can be anything to do with meta ads, which of course does include everything we've already talked about. Ichi, are you ready for the insider tips?
Yes.
Okay, let's start with newbie advice. If we've inspired someone to take their first step, what do they need to know to give themselves the best chance of success?
I would say like really focusing on collecting more customer data. Like however you do it on the website or you do it either online, offline, getting to know more about who they are, specifically their emails.
Simple as that, everybody, and such an important message at the moment.
Yep.
It's such an important message. Once you've started, of course, you've got to keep optimizing. So, what's your favorite way to improve performance?
Great question. My favorite way of improving performance is making sure that you're making decisions on the right data. Lots of people people make decisions every single day, but you gotta know you're making the right decision. So, like double check if the data is accurate. A cross check with other sources. Shopify should be your source of truth, and cross check with other channels, making sure the number is 100% accurate before you make a decision.
Cool. Now, if someone listening wants to learn more, is there one cheap or free resource you would recommend?
Yeah, and I write blogs myself. So inside DTC marketing tech, if you Google that or you can search that, it's inside DTC marketing tech is a blog I write. There's a lot of technical content there. I talk about things like attribution, tracking, meta ads campaign structures. How do you leverage and tweak there's little things, features in Ads Manager. So let me know if you have any feedback, any thoughts on the content I write. Hopefully this is helpful to people.
Excellent. Definitely one to go and bookmark and have a read of, everyone. And you heard it here. Get in contact with Yiqi if you've got feedback or something maybe you want her to write on. So you could get it customized to yourselves. Finally, crystal ball time. What's coming up in the next 6 to 12 months that we should be getting ready for? Dare you even try and predict in this space?
I think the next step in the next 5 years will be like, given all the data, how do you take actionable items? Like, how do you know what to do with the data? I think AI is gonna do a huge leverage there. Like, they're gonna be able to find out patterns, things that human will take months or weeks to like figure out, like basically solve all the data analytics questions, and also eventually come up with like action items, like what to do next, how to do improvements. Even with like A/B testing ideas, like even like A/B test it for you, make like automated decisions. I feel like that's gonna be such an interesting future in the next 5 years. I'm pretty much looking forward to like more self-driven, self-automated agents that can make rational decisions on data.
Yeah, we're starting to see it in some areas of e-commerce. The very clear data pieces. We're going, you need to reorder this, you need to, you're running low on that one, put this one on sale type stuff. But yeah, there's such potential there. So I love that as a crystal ball answer. Yiqi, we are very nearly at the end of the show. So could you please let the listeners know a bit more about what you do at Aimerce and how they can find you and your business?
Yeah. So Aimerce does all the enhanced data on your metapixels, Google conversion actions, Klaviyo trigger events. We generally make about 20 to 40% more revenue on top of all your marketing channels. And we are probably one of the few companies in the world that currently supports catalog API. And we are able to enhance your catalog metadata, and it help you take a peek of what your competitors are doing, and and maybe you can come up with ideas to improve that. Yeah.
Awesome. And everybody goes to aimerce.ai to find out more about that, don't they? So that's aimerce.ai, everybody, to get in contact with Yiqi and find out what they're up to. Yiqi, as always, it's been a complete pleasure getting to catch up with you and find out what's happening in the first-party data space. So thank you so much for sharing so much with me and the audience today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So have you got the message? You need to be collecting your first party data. Who they are on your website, what they're doing on your website, and feeding that back to your marketing channels to improve what the algorithms can do for you, whether that's the email campaigns triggering different things for abandonment, or whether that's the all-important optimization of your Facebook ads and your Google ads. Please, please, please start collecting that data. Aimerce have a brilliant tool for doing that, so do check them out. It's a lot simpler than you think. And then that whole the product catalog data, we've talked about it a number of times on this podcast, but the UCP is a huge opportunity for those of you on Shopify, and makes sorting out that metadata ever more important. For the rest of you, of course, you need to be sorting out that all your product data, because they are after it, and it's the AI bots want that information so they can recommend you and your products correctly at the right time to the right people and all that good jazz. Now, you can get the links to all the things we discussed, the full transcript of the episode, important notes and more at keepoptimizing.com. You can also use our direct episode short links. That's keepopt.com/the number of the episode. Just plug that into the URL bar and you'll go straight to this episode's page on the site. And when you get there, go on, add yourself to the Chloe Thomas newsletter so you don't miss out on any of the cool things we share to help you improve your business. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Keep Optimizing podcast. If you enjoyed this one, our first in our latest meta ads series, and you want to keep learning about meta ads right now, then why not pick up our thread of meta ads episodes? Just scroll back up your feed to episodes 239 to 243, which was the last time we picked up the meta ads thread. And we cover lots of different angles in that. And if you want all our meta ads episodes, then head to the website, keepopt.com/meta, which will take you to a page that lists all our Facebook and meta ad relevant episodes. Please do tell your fellow marketers about this show, because we create it to help as many of you as possible to improve the performance of your e-commerce marketing. And meta ads is such a huge topic. You're really going to want to catch these episodes. Have a great week, and make sure you listen to the next episode so I can help you to keep optimizing your marketing.